right? What do you know now that you wish you had known when you first started? Or what do you know now that you wish you had known early on in this, as you started to get into the industry? What have you learned along the way?
That I will never know everything. You will never master any role in this position, because right when I think I got it all figured out, a new law comes out or a new trend becomes popular, or there's no mastering this industry. So embrace that you will be a lifetime learner, and it's going to keep you on your toes, and it's easier to move through each day that way.
I like one phrase. If you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right.
That's right.
So, everything is in your mind, your brain. So nothing is impossible, but persistent, consistent, that's thing that really help you to be success, because we're giving service to people, they're paying the house, their apartment, and then you have to do your best. We're not gonna be perfect,
Right.
but when you're trying to do your best, it's gonna be good.
Yes.
Yeah, and that effort plus what you guys have already kind of talked about, your demeanor and how you interact with residents goes a long ways when you don't when you're not perfect, because you've interacted with a resident in a great way, even though you didn't necessarily get it done perfectly.
Yeah. Industry is very small. Everyone tells you that, but I don't believe it until you actually get involved in the association. Industry is very small, so watch what you say. You're not perfect.
Yeah.
And don't think you're better than anybody else because your property might be doing better off, or you might have gotten a designation. You're not.
Yeah.
Someone else is going to be more creative, smarter than you, and bring different ideas to the table, and you don't need to be dismissive. Be open-minded of that.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm still growing with stuff. I still make mistakes, and that's a big thing I tell people. Casey will still correct me on things, and that's normal, and that means I'm growing.
Yeah.
So all my failures are actually wins, and so I'm always a winner, because even when I fail, I learn something and I correct it for the next time. And guess what? I'm coming back, and I'm 10 times better than I was before my failure.
Yeah.
So watch out. No, I'm just kidding. So watch out.
Watch out.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but rely on your colleagues, and listen and trust that Madera has a place for you. And if it's not your time right now, it doesn't mean it's not going to be.
Yeah.
Because we find that with people in our industry, we get very competitive with each other sometimes. And I'm like, if only you knew, you can be a leasing agent today, an assistant manager tomorrow, and you can be a manager. And we're gonna need more portfolio managers. We're gonna need there's gonna be other positions. So don't necessarily be competitive with people. In a way you can, but use their strengths to make up for your weaknesses.
Yeah, which gets back to the size of the industry you just mentioned, because at some point you're going to cross paths again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so create teammates there.
We don't compete with each other. We compete with ourselves from the year prior, right?
That's the goal.
That's what you should.
That's
Always
right.
compete with yourself.
Taking notes, I think trying to keep everything up here just makes it a whole lot more challenging, because you are constantly running around. There's always a new fire to put out, or there's a walk-in will come in and you're in the middle of something really important you have to get done, but you can't. And it's just to have a running list of things where you understand what the hierarchy of things that need to get done.
Yeah.
Just having actual notes in front of you where it's not just up in your brain. It's really important.
Yeah. That's a great tip. That's a great tip. What do you think, Valerie?
Don't be scared. You got this. Yeah, don't be scared. I know I definitely was. So that was very, very tough and scary. I actually did what Trevor did. I was putting everything in my head. Don't do that. Yes, definitely take notes. Be prepared. Ask questions. Don't ever think a question is dumb.
And leasing, it takes a little while. You got to build up your pipeline. And I'll watch some new folks come in and they go 2 weeks, week and a half, they don't have a lease, and they're like, I'm terrible at this. And I'm like, no, you're not. Those folks are going to come back in a couple more days. It takes a minute. You got that pipeline moving, and then your confidence boosts. So don't let that hurt your confidence up front.
Yeah.
I think it's important that they understand that it's 100% possible to balance your work and your family and be successful.
Very
I
cool.
think that is very crucial.
Yeah. Yeah, it is possible.
It is possible. It's difficult, and what I mean by that is it's it's a learning again, and know, hey, we can do this. We can do this, and family is important.
Yeah.
And when you're satisfied internally that way, it's just going to exude out to everybody.
Well, and in my experience, like with new seasons of your family or new seasons of life at Madera, like
Yes.
there's like a reorientation to
Yes.
like, okay, now how do I rebalance again?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, and learn to turn it off if you can. As soon as, when you get in the car and you scream and yell, okay, you automatically go into, okay, I already know, make dinner, I got to do, and then you kind of, it takes a while.
Yeah.
And I think speaking to our younger selves, or when we first got into the industry, I was working 7 days a week, putting myself through college. That's how I got involved here. So, and I didn't know that. And so it took a while, and now I'm starting over. So it's nice. And I think it's important to teach people that.
I love this job. I love every role I've played in the multifamily industry. But I almost stopped when I first got into the industry.
Really?
And it was because I took things personally.
Okay.
Every little thing I took, it was like personal, like, oh my goodness, they hate me. And then I learned, like, they don't hate you. I think someone said earlier, they don't like the situation. So don't think that someone is attacking you. It is worth it. This industry is amazing. Just stick through it. Stop wearing your feelings on your sleeve, and just do a job and put people first, and it will get easier, and people will respect you for it.
Yeah. Very cool.
It's not a job, it's a career.
It's a career.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
Yes.
Like, I appreciate you saying that, because I think that's something that as we continue to have these conversations, it becomes more evident and more evident. Like, this is a great career to be involved in, especially if you love people.
There's a ton of growth just waiting for people to come and let me do it.
Yes.
So it's
Awesome.
treated me well, so
Yeah.
it'll treat everyone else well.